Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 73 of our trip around the United States. After 3 days off in Oshkosh, we're back on the road today and ready to hit the miles again. We've got 4 more days of Wisconsin, and we're going to be doing the same thing we were when we came in. We're going to be making our way west across the state, then dropping south, going east again, dropping south, going west again. Today we're going to go out west to the furthest point in Wisconsin, and that's where our day ends. We're starting here from Auroraville, and from here it's just a westward jaunt all day long. The forecast says that it's going to be rainy, and so far that's exactly what's been happening. But that's alright, because after seeing those 2 dry waterfalls in Green Bay, we realized the state of Wisconsin could use a little rain. So go ahead and bring that on. We're going to keep caching through the day anyway, and we think today is going to be a pretty good day because we got some pretty good targets coming up on the list. So why don't we go see what the day has in store? Come on!
After departing Oshkosh, we kicked off our day at the Auroraville Fountain. This artesian well has been preserved in time just as it used to look in the 1930s. While passing through the Stevens Point area in Portage County, we passed through the historical village of Heritage Park. This historical park gives visitors the opportunity to step back in time into World War I history by visiting one of the 6 museum buildings on site. Or imagine the wind blowing through their hair on one of the 2 trains in the park. From there, we headed north to the real treat, the Stevens Point Sculpture Park. Sitting on 20 acres, this sculpture park is connected to the Green Circle Trail and features artwork from local, regional, and national artists. The park is always growing and changing too, so depending on when you visit will depend on what you get to see during your tour of the park. I personally enjoyed the scattering of motivational street signs in the middle of all the really neat statues here. Sometimes they grabbed your attention, and sometimes they didn't. But each piece had something unique to offer as we made our way down the trail. Or, should I say, as we meandered our way down the trail. In either case, most pieces are accompanied by a plaque that tells you what they're about. But they're all supposed to be interpretive pieces of art, so it's left up to the observer to determine what the piece is actually intended to represent. And with abstract art, sometimes that can be difficult, so the dog and I just contented ourselves with getting to see all of these neat statues along the way. Like the Statue of Infinite Decay, which seemed to stretch on into eternity. Or this very handsome centaur guarding the waterfront. What's up, big guy? All in all, the dog and I ended up exploring about a mile on the trail before turning around and heading back to the car. Because as cool as the Stevens Point Sculpture Park is, and it is a pretty cool spot, we were even more excited about the next spot we were going to stop for a visit. The High Ground Veterans Memorial Park, just outside of Neillsville. What had started as a Vietnam Veterans Memorial Project in 1984 has grown to a 155-acre park whose mission is to honor, educate, and heal all veterans and their families who visit. Open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, this is the largest manned veterans park in the nation. As you walk around the grounds here, you can discover memorials dating back to all of the wars throughout our history. I was particularly honored on this visit to get to meet a group of veterans while I was here in the park. We discussed the differences and similarities in serving across the generations. It was truly incredible to get to experience this monument side by side with other veterans who have served as well. Of course, the part of the monument that stood out most to me was the dedications to the conflicts in the Middle East. It seemed to capture so well the various parts of the struggle, from coming home to see your loved ones, standing on the front lines, and contemplating what has come before. Having the opportunity to visit the High Ground Veterans Memorial was definitely the high point of our day. But alas, it's time to find a couple of geocaches. These things are always more fun to track down when it's not busy raining down on you. And we were fortunate that everything was dry, for the most part, after our visit to the Veterans Memorial. Our biggest surprise of the day came when we visited the Wildcat Mountains. The rain had started up again when we got here, but the dog and I did not let that stop us from enjoying the trail system. This is like no other place that I have had the opportunity to explore in Wisconsin. The trail follows around the edge of unique sandstone bluffs and cliff faces, and offers fantastic views of the valley below. It did take a little convincing to get the dog to join me, but she enjoyed it once we were out here. And the edge of the bluffs actually made a good shelter from the rain, too. Alright, pup, unhitch the wagon team. It's time to find yet another geocache. This reminds me of a phrase my boss used to say all the time. Circle the wagons, team. But when we did circle the wagons, rarely did we have anything this good to show for it. And let's remember, food is a big no-no in geocaches. That's gotta go. We haven't seen a lot of farmlands or hills up until now in Wisconsin, so it was kind of interesting to see it on the western side of the state like this. By the time we'd made it just outside of St Croix, the sun was already going down once again, so we stopped off to finish off our day. And this park just looked too fun to resist.
Oh, threw me out there.
We're only halfway down though, still gotta take one more slide to get out of here.
Wee doggy! That was different.
And just like that, another day comes to an end. See you tomorrow, Wisconsin. Well, travelers, that wraps up another day on the road for Aichan and I, and our first day back on the road after a 3-day break in Oshkosh. It was definitely a slow day, but thankfully it was a dry day. The rain that we had in the morning cleared up pretty quickly, and from there it's been dry all day long. We got to enjoy a nice country drive, and coming up through this far western side of Wisconsin, we discovered the hills and mountains that the rest of Wisconsin had been hiding from us up until now. The two standouts today were the Concrete Park and the High Ground Memorial. Both of those were pretty amazing places. Otherwise, it was a pretty slow day, which we're just fine with. We're still wrapping our way into a full speed geocaching day, but I think that by tomorrow, Aichan and I will be back at 100% speed, moving through our target list just like we have been in the past. For today, we're gonna go catch a little bit more sleep and get ourselves a little better rested so we're ready for what the day has to bring tomorrow. You ready, girl? Oh, she's ready for some fun. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.